So I teach a 5-credit wild food class at Fairhaven College. I've been teaching there 12 years. And that's Fairhaven College is a college within the larger Western Washington University campus. So that is like my favorite class in the world to teach, just about. And as I was I don't know, they call them teaching professors at Fairhaven. I was a teaching professor, and I got this call from Joe, and he says, "Hey, Jenny, the funding is available. Would you like to do this project?" And I thought, oh my gosh, of course, of course. Never mind. I tossed another book aside that I was writing and jumped into this because that is my style. It's like you kind of go with the doors that open up. And I'll tell you, it was a tough, I knew I wanted to do the study. I absolutely knew I wanted to do the study. The timing was a little challenging because my father was in hospice. I was writing a book about him and welding our family back together. And after my mother died in this accident, and it was a book that I'd set aside already. And this is all side story that you can.
No, but that's good on you the way most people are is push toward forcing the door open that you have on your mind, but the ability to kind of go with what the world is presenting you is a good skill to have.
Oh, it is, and what I did was after I went to Joe, I hung up the phone and I felt that whole book just kind of crumble again. And I thought, but I do want to do this. And I don't want to have a regret because this door won't stay open. I knew it won't stay open. And I immediately called my father, who's in hospice. And I said, Dad, I've had this amazing opportunity. SeaDoc Society would like to fund a seaweed research project in Salish Sea seaweeds. And I knew, he doesn't know what the Salish Sea is. He knows Puget Sound, but and I said, but I'm going to learn to do a scientific study, which I've wanted for a long time. But this means I need to set the book aside for maybe 2 years. And I know in hospice, you live 6 months. Typically, that's your kind of like time that they figure that they're going to give you support for.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 2 years. So I realize he's not going to see the completion of this book. He might not have anyways. But coming from the Depression era of not so many opportunities, he was born in 1920. He said, "Oh, Jenny, this is great. I mean, just think of it. You can work at the university as a teacher. You can go up to Alaska. You can work as a wilderness guide. You can write books. And now you're going to learn scientific research. This is wonderful." And I just felt that that's my dad. That is my dad through and through.
Really, really amazing.
And I just said, but I'll have to set the book aside. And he said, you have the stories. You've already recorded them for several years. And the book is going to get written. And tears are just streaming down my eyes. And then I quickly called my book agent and also told her how I was shifting now from the book to scientific research. And she said, "Are you going to do this on your own?" I said, "I think I'm going to go to graduate school." She said, "Well, I'll write you a letter of recommendation." So my support system just went from one stream to another. It's like, a slide came down and blocked that river for a little while, and zoom, we went off in another direction, knowing I'd come back and that would be clear.
Gosh.
I just didn't think it would be 7 years later.
Yeah.
That's the surprise.
That is also tends to be a way things work in the world, I guess. But